In this lecture, we will study how to find conclusions in a critical reasoning problem. Drawing out conclusion in a critical reasoning problem is often a very simple task if we follow the right steps. To start off with the basics, every statement given in a critical reasoning problem consists of a premise, that is the argument stated, as well as an assumption. This assumption could be directly stated inside the statement or can be indirectly inferred from the argument. We can take one example to understand how this premise plus assumption thing works. Last night, a thief stole my ring, but his face was caught on CCTV camera. This first part is our premise. The second part is the conclusion. The police identified the person and it turned out to be my neighbor. The assumption here is not directly mentioned, but from the statement we can correctly find out the assumption that if someone's face gets caught on a CCTV camera, the police can identify the person. This is the statement that acts as an assumption in this question. Every critical reasoning problem will have a premise, an assumption, and including both of them together and making a logical sense out of it, we can get the conclusion. Conclusion is often the first or the last sentence of the paragraph that is given to you. Here are some steps that can easily help you identify the conclusion in a critical reasoning problem. Start looking for statements that satisfy the criteria if X therefore Y or if Y therefore X. That is, take one statement which leads to a conclusion to a second statement. Cause and effect. Try to search for these problems. For example, in the given problem, we can correctly say that face was caught on camera is X and therefore the police identified the person is Y. It can also be in reverse, in which case the initial statement can become our conclusion. If you get an if and therefore type statement, the RHS part of these statements is the conclusion. Here we can correctly identify this form and hence we can identify that police identified the person and it turned out to be my neighbor is the concluding part of the statement. Here is one example to show you and make things much more clear. Take 30 seconds to think about this problem. Can you find out the correct answer to this? The alarming fact is that 90% of the people in this country now report that they know someone who is unemployed. So Adam here is making an argument. And Nick says, but a normal moderate level of unemployment is 5%, with 1 out of 20 workers unemployed. So at any given time, if a person knows approximately 50 workers, 1 or more will very likely be unemployed. So after getting a first glance of this statement, we can conclude that Nick is going against Adam, is not in favor of the statement that Adam has made. So when we are about to find out the conclusion, we must take this as a matter of fact that Nick is going against Adam. So any statement here that supports Adam is not a correct answer. Let's start reviewing the options one by one. The fact that 90% of the people know someone who is unemployed is not an indication that unemployment is abnormally high. This somehow relates to what Nick is saying, so I will keep this option as a backup. Option number B. The current level of unemployment is not moderate. This directly supports Adam's point of view, but not Nick's point of view. Hence, since the question asks about Nick's argument, we can easily cross out option B. Option C says, if at least 5% of workers are unemployed, the result of questioning a representative group of people cannot be the percentage Adam cites. Do you think this is somehow or even a little bit related to the problem that we are discussing? We are discussing a question between the unemployment rate that is being given and the unemployment that is actually prevalent. Is it an alarming fact? Is it not an alarming fact? A representative group of people that cannot be the percentage Adam cites is never mentioned in the question. because we don't know where Adam is getting its results. A representative group of people cannot be the percentage Adam cites is not at all relevant to the problem because we don't know where Adam is getting his facts from. Hence, we can cross out this option as well. It is unlikely that the people whose statements Adam cites are giving accurate reports. We really don't know whether they're saying the truth or not, but this cannot be the actual conclusion to Nick's argument. This option is a typical out of context option, and you must identify and easily eliminate these options. Moving on to option number E, if an employment figure is given as a certain percent, the actual percentage of those without jobs is even higher. How do we get to know what this statement means? They're saying if the unemployment figure is as a certain percentage is given. So what they're saying is the percentage given in our records and the percentage of actually unemployed people is much more higher. We have never talked about the reality and the facts. We are just talking about one important thing, that is the alarming rate actually true or not? Hence, this once again becomes an out of context option, and we can very easily choose option number A as a correct answer. If you would have looked at this problem, this is a very easy level problem for critical reasoning because most of the options like this, this and this are actually out of context. They are going out of the given facts. Sometimes you may face a difficulty in deciding whether a question has out of context options or not. Yes, I know it can be difficult to understand this, but please, whenever you're stuck on these type of problems, just focus on the words that I've given. Please do not infer anything on your own out of this. All these three, 1, 2, and 3, are actually inferences that may sound logical in your mind, but have never been explicitly stated in the question. Hence, option A is the answer. Do practice questions on finding out conclusions, and I hope that you'll be able to solve these questions in about 1 to 1.5 minutes in the paper and use that extra time for reading comprehension. This is a scoring topic. Do practice well. Happy learning.